from clarkwoods.com. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 165. I am Chris.
Wasn't last week 165?
I am Chris.
And I am Steve.
I looked it up before the show. Last week was 164. Now you're gonna make me make me look and oh my gosh, that's the thing that we have something we were talking about right off the top, but I just thought of something else. I could add to the 164 was fun natural fun. That was last week.
Yes.
So I am not mistaken.
Okay, cool.
This week is all about 165.
Your tweet about what it should have been called, but we never said it during the show, so we couldn't really. I mean, you could have, and I wouldn't have been upset about it.
I don't think I realized it until the next day. Until I'd done all the work, and then the next day I was sitting at my desk and I said to him, and I was composing the tweet, and I said, "Oh no, this would have been a better title." So
yeah, the better title would have been, and we're not going to do it this time.
Yeah,
but it's Earls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah. Earls Just Want to Have Fun would have been a better title, but we didn't think of it, and we're sorry.
Yes.
So you had a story you wanted to start with, and I'll save the thing that I thought of for later.
Okay, so
if we run out of material.
Yeah, well, we just might. So Wednesday, D&D night, we
Odin's Day.
Odin's Day?
Yeah, Odin's Day. Have you ever seen American Gods or read American Gods?
No, but my boss has, and she's very, very interested in the book. She's seen the series, and she's not quite as interested in the series.
Yeah, I gather the series is not as good, but the guy who actually is Odin, he calls himself Mr. Wednesday. There's a scene in I forget how the scene plays out in the book, but in the TV show, there's a scene that was in the trailer, and the guy who's playing Odin says, what says to somebody else, well, what is today? And the guy says Wednesday, and he goes, it's my day, Odin's day. That's how we got Wednesday, and Thursday is Thor's day, and Friday is Frigga's day.
If you say so.
It is.
Okay.
Got three Norse gods right there in a row, rounding out our week.
Just like we have 10-tober, 11 November. Wait, no. It's 8-tober.
8-tober.
And
that's right.
9-vember. And 10-december.
Yeah. They added some shit in there earlier.
I did it. I used to do it in my stand-up.
Oh, really?
It was a whole, I had a whole time bit.
Yeah,
where I talked about daylight savings time and then the extra months that they added on.
Were Rick and Morty or Doc and Marty? Were either of those guys around?
No.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, we ordered some TC Landos. Getting local for you there. It's a sub shop that from the late 90s, early aughts. They had some of the worst advertising ever.
Oh.
Not worst as in it was bad, but it wasn't. It was like one of those good bads.
Okay, right. Like it was a.
It was like The Room.
It was like The Room as opposed to.
Actually, no. They were trying for it to be bad. It was evident, so maybe it wasn't like The Room. It was like Sharknado. Maybe.
Sharknado. Okay. All right.
Okay, so we got that, and. So we got some French fries and some other stuff, and some dippy sauce came along with it, and the Ken's package.
Ken.
And it was.
That's what Ken did after he was done with our band. He went off and he started making
packets.
Making packets.
Okay, that's nice. So. We got this packet of ranch, but it's hot because it's been sitting in this bag
hot ranch
with hot fries and steak and cheese subs.
Okay.
Which is what we call them up north, Philadelphia. And so Becky's like, "Can you put this in the fridge?
Yeah.
This packet of ranch, and grab me the bottle of ranch that we have because it's cold." And she didn't want hot ranch, and I don't imagine too many people want hot ranch.
No, I think it's one of the lesser searched terms on Pornhub.
Oh, okay.
Hot ranch.
Hot ranch. Let me. Can I get the hot ranch when you're ordering it, the brothel? Diet Coke too.
What kind of party would you like today?
I want a hot ranch.
I would like the hot ranch. I'm gonna have to see if that's still on the menu.
Yeah, that's when a dude that just worked a day in the field, takes off his shirt.
Yeah, it just takes off his. It takes
Well, that's
off
the
his,
hot rancher.
That's hot rancher. No, I think it's. I think you're pretty close. I think he takes off his overalls
And then
he
squirts
puts
you with his hot ranch.
He puts his balls in your mouth. I mean, that's the hot ranch.
Yuck. But if you're into that, good for you. So I'm just going to ask you a question. If you were to put a packet somewhere in the fridge, where would you put it?
A packet in the fridge.
A packet of something like soy sauce or like a packet of ranch, like ketchup packets or something like that.
I think that would go in either the meat, the crisper thingy.
Where you put vegetables?
Oh, no, not the crisper. What is the sometimes there's
the
like
drawer
cold,
where you
like
put cheese?
Cuts. Yeah. Maybe I put it in there, or in the flip up thing where the butter goes.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I don't. Is there another place?
I don't think there's another place, Chris.
Another place.
So I'm right with you on the second one. Where I would think to put it is the butter thing.
Right.
So I flip the butter up and egg flies out, lands on the floor. As this is happening,
isn't there an egg thing? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
We don't have an egg thing, but
okay, I'm getting ahead of things.
But as I'm opening it, I hear "No, don't," and it's too late. I open it up. And egg flies out.
That's usually the response to requesting a hot ranch and realizing what it actually is.
Yeah, I don't want that. No, don't.
The rancher comes out from outside. He starts dropping trow, and you're like, no, don't. Too late. Balls
Too late.
in your mouth.
How close is this guy that you can't tell him to stop before he gets his balls in your mouth?
Maybe you're thinking, well, he's going to get together with me and the lady, and it's going to be an interesting party. But no, the lady then leaves the room, and you're like, why did she leave the room? And he starts dropping trow, but he's pretty fast at dropping trow, and then he gives you the hot ranch.
Gross.
So an egg ends up on the
floor.
floor.
So eggs on the floor, and it's just out of all the places
to put an
egg and. This is one of the few times in our relationship where I think I've and people have been backing me up, and it's like Steve is right. There's no place for an egg.
I mean, when you have no egg thingy, right? Like, I can understand. Where else are you going to put the egg?
Yeah.
But I mean, do you have like a shelf where an egg thingy would go?
We could. Wait, I don't know. She could have took some paper towels and built a nest,
or
something, and put it on the top shelf. Anything, but there.
Anywhere but there.
So if you guys are out there in podcast land and you want to play a prank on your significant other, put an egg in the little butter place.
Butter thing, yeah, because maybe you don't use butter. Maybe you can't believe it's not butter, and you've got that somewhere.
Her rationale was, I mean.
God,
you never go in there. She's probably going to be annoyed through this entire. Maybe that's good. We got this out of the way because she's going to probably 15 seconds through this until we stop talking about this fucking story. You never go in there. Oh, obviously. No, put things that will easily fall on the floor and break.
I see where she's coming from. Just to be, play devil's advocate here. And not that I'm saying she's a devil. I'm playing
you're being the
expression.
Yes, I understand. I don't think she's the devil. And like I said, I mean, there's a lot of times when we have discussions and whatnot that I'm very wrong, but this is one instance where it's clear that it seems that I'm the one who is right. Okay. So I'm the one who is right.
So what happened to the
egg?
No. What happened to the ranch?
Oh, I got her the bottle of ranch eventually.
Well, I know, but did you keep the packet around, or did you throw it out?
I can go check.
You should go check.
Maybe we should have done the show in the kitchen.
You should go check right now. I mean, it won't take you that long, and I can always.
I'll give you a hot ranch. Oh, it's cold.
Oh well, I mean, I like the hot ranch. We've already been over this, and it's not. It's not that. I mean, it's not that I would like the hot ranch at the Bunny Ranch. I mean, I don't. I like guys in overalls, but. That's not.
I'm back. It is in fact still in the butter.
Is it cold?
It's underneath the butter.
Oh, I can't believe it's not butter ranch.
It is ranch and it is butter.
Let me just take issue with the people from Philadelphia here, which you kind of glossed over this. I mean, we call it a steak and cheese
because that's what it is.
Because that's what it is, and that's what makes sense. Now, if you call it a cheesesteak, aren't you expecting that, like, if you're a normal human being from New England, and you are told that you are ordering a cheesesteak, I'm imagining that is like a ham steak, right? It's a steak of ham, so I'm getting a steak of cheese.
Which would be gross if you were to fry up cheese.
Why would I want it?
Just if you were to fry up just cheese, because then it would just get all like stuck to the grill.
I mean, maybe I would think that a cheesesteak is like a really long mozzarella stick. You know what I mean? Like it's cheese in bread, and that's what I'm getting. You know, and it's the sort of thing that like KFC would cook up. There would be no bun. It would just be this big, long, breaded piece of cheese that had been fried up. That's maybe a cheesesteak, but
well, in certain parts of the country, like they say things wrong.
They do. There are certain places where every fizzy drink is a Coke. You know, like an orange
we've
Coke,
gone over this.
We have gone over this, and they're wrong.
And like in New York, when you're standing, online.
When you're queuing.
When you're queuing, you stand online in New York as opposed to in line.
Hey, everybody that's listening to this is standing online right now.
Are they?
They're standing online waiting for
the us. Apple 10.
No. That's not for pre-order yet. But they weren't standing in line for the for the 8.
Yeah, I was going to, but then they got rid of the option to extend your contract and pay like half of what the phone is worth. So I'm like, I don't know what to do now because like I don't want to pay retail price and I don't want to lease it.
Yeah, you don't want to have the installments. You could check out the Apple plan, like go directly to the store because they can do your contracts there, and they might be able to let you pay. Like, give you trade-in value for the one you already have. They've done that for me in the past. Knock that off of the price, and then it would technically be a lease, I guess. You would be paying the remainder over time. I don't know.
I don't want to lease it. I want it to be mine.
All right, well, so...
I mean, despite, like, you know, I probably, you know... I mean, I own my car outright, so it's not, like, a problem or anything.
Yeah.
But... I don't think even now that I don't drive very much anymore, I still don't think I would lease a car. I would want to have it. Like I don't want to like be like, okay, my lease is up. This car isn't mine anymore. I guess.
Yeah.
Or I can opt to buy it.
Well, you know, everything is rent. Just saying.
Yeah,
you don't own anything permanently. It's like
I do. I own that car.
Well. I mean, you own that car in a sense of like, but when you die, you don't get to take that car with you.
Obviously,
right?
But yeah. I doubt I'll have my
everything is
iPhone 6S like come
like 40, 50 years, 40, 50, 60 years from now. You're
pushing up daisies, but like I like having a backup phone that is only 1 away from or 2 away, as opposed to my old backup phone, which is an iPhone 5.
Yeah. Oh. That's my mom has a 5C. 5C? Yeah. And hers now will not do the latest iOS update.
Yeah, so I don't want to
I
don't want to do that.
5C and earlier, you're out of luck. Yeah, no, it didn't wasn't as popular. Lots of people waiting for the X apparently.
Well, if you know, if they drop
the 10, I'm sorry.
If they drop the price or drop the price of the fucking 7, maybe I'll get that. But I do not want to pay that much because I want the most gigabytes.
Most gigabytes.
Yeah.
I mean, 1.21 gigabytes.
No, wouldn't it be?
It would be a lot more than that.
Isn't it 256 now?
Yeah.
Why isn't it just a fucking terabyte at this point? Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Just app. I mean, we don't need a terabyte.
No,
I doubt anybody could fit that much on their phone.
People could. I mean, depending on the size of their photo libraries and stuff like that. I mean, I could because I have on my phone, I have it set to optimize instead of store my whole thing. But if my phone was storing all of my photos that I've shot over the years, because I take too many pictures of my kids, I could do a. Could I? Maybe not. Like all my pictures of my kids plus all my music, if I had all my music stored locally, and maybe a movie or two. It would be pretty hard to fill a terabyte on a phone. But I'm sure somebody could do it.
Yeah,
we want to make.
But I don't think that's not something that would be easily done.
Yeah,
you would have to try really hard and download every game and every movie and every television show and just keep them on your phone.
Yeah. Well, I have like every movie that I own on a backup drive on my computer, and that's like, is it up to 2 terabytes now, or is it a terabyte and a half? It's a lot.
Yeah, well, you know.
You know.
And you can't. The thing about the iPhone is you can't update the memory.
No.
It's something they don't want you doing, which is what pushes a lot of people away. Because those people that want a terabyte or 2 or fucking a ridiculous amount of storage on the thing in their pocket,
they can't get up there. I mean, they can go, let them go buy a shitty Android phone.
Oh, an egg comes out of the drawer.
I gotta say something though.
An egg comes out of the butter place. Oh, an egg falls down on the floor.
I don't know what you're singing.
It's a song called Egg by Mr. Bungle.
Oh, Mr. Bungle. I bungled that one. I stopped listening this week to the podcast that I've been listening to the longest.
Is this the one with the guy with the dog? It is
not the one with the guy with the dog. you really want that to be the one.
Yes.
No, but so...
I will encourage it, but I will.
The guy who's the co-host of the one with the dog. I have come to the conclusion that it might not be that I like podcasts. It may just be that I like Merlin Mann,
which is the other guy.
The other guy, not the guy with the dog. So I listen to a lot of stuff that Merlin does.
Is it wizardry?
Oh my god. I hope he never listens to this.
I hope he does.
He might punch his speaker or something like that. It's certainly not the first time he has ever heard that joke.
You only have referred to him a couple of times, and this is the first time in 165 episodes that I've made
you've made the joke. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I started listening to Merlin. I forget how I got into him. It was a long, long time ago, but he started doing this show called Back to Work, which I really, really loved the first few years that it was on. It was he and this guy, Dan Benjamin.
Any relation to John Benjamin?
No, not as far as I know. But they would do this show, and it was about productivity, but not really about productivity. It was about Buddhism. Sometimes it was about mindfulness.
Interesting side note. John Benjamin is another person like you that doesn't use their first name. He is H. John Benjamin.
H. John Benjamin.
And you are E. Christopher Clark.
I am indeed. Earls just want to have fun. But for a long time, so then when Merlin started doing other shows, I would branch out and I'd listen to those shows. Not all of them. He did a show about Top Chef for a little while that I was like, I don't really have any interest in Top Chef. I'm not going to listen to that.
Top Chef is one of those shows that I've never sought out, but if it's on, I will be interested enough to watch at least 3 episodes.
Sure, I would. Well, I don't know if I'd watch 3, but if we were channel surfing, I don't mind a cooking show.
It's like when it's like a Sunday afternoon, like right now.
Right. Instead of doing a podcast,
you're just flicking through the channels, and you end up on Food Network, and you're like,
you end up watching a big black man kneel on the football field. Oh, it's a Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
Can I just say that I'm sick of his shit? Like not the football player.
No,
the man that gets upset about football players, and I'm not going to mention him because I think that gives him power, like Voldemort.
You must not be named. All right, sorry. So you'll watch Food Chef? No, Top Chef. If it's on,
or maybe a Saturday afternoon because everybody wants to watch football all day on Sundays. But
are you guys big football people?
You'll
watch it in like the playoffs and stuff when it starts to get
but like even as far back as 10 years ago, I was more interested in sports.
Yeah,
like in my 20s, I was just like, yeah, this is cool. Like 10 years ago. Was the second to last time the Red Sox won, and the Pats lost the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, that was a weird year.
And I think that coming spring early summer, whenever the fucking NBA playoffs is, the Celtics won.
Yeah,
and then a couple years later, the Bruins won. Yeah. And then after that, I think I was just like, I don't give a shit.
Like all our damn curses are gone. You know.
Well, it's not. The Bruins didn't have a curse.
Well,
they just hadn't
but
won in a while.
It'd been a while. Yeah.
And the Celtics had been the most recent prior to.
Oh, that's right.
Prior to the Patriots winning.
Yeah. Anyway, so.
But yeah, like 2000. What was that?
I don't know.
Can you pause it for a second?
So what was it?
It was nothing. I have no idea. I looked all around. I couldn't find anything. But I did get some more water. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
Success.
Water's important. So you would watch some Top Chef. I think that was the gist of where we were at. So anyway, so Merlin does a lot of podcasts now. That's one of the ways that he makes money. He sort of he has a pretty good audience, so the advertisers pay him. Awesome, good for him. I started listening to his show with the dog guy. Which you wish I would stop listening to. I started listening.
Chris, you can listen whatever you want.
I started listening to his show with the musician John Roderick, which is pretty funny. And then I started listening to his next show with the people he did the Top Chef show with, called Do by Friday. And all through this, I was like, every time I'd encounter Merlin on a show with somebody else, I'd be like, oh, that's really funny. That's really awesome. Like I dig it. But the show that I started off with, the Back to Work, it started to become a chore. And it's like, I keep listening to this because I've listened to every single episode, including like the bad ones. But I never didn't listen.
I mean, and you're talking to Becky and Brian right now.
I never stopped listening, right? But this I got a backlog.
Maybe Leo as well.
I got a backlog, which is uncomfortable. I should take something for that. I got a backlog of episodes over August because I spent some time vacationing and I spent some time not in my car as much, so my podcasts backed up, and I was listening to sort of
the castor oil will clear that up.
Yeah. Oh, I should give that a whirl. Anyway, so I get to this episode, and Dan, one of the other host of this show, starts going off on an uneducated rant, uneducated contrarian rant, which is his want. He basically sort of sits there and acts as the contrarian to whatever Merlin says, and it's just it's gone from being a bit to being part of his personality, and he's just this sad old curmudgeon.
Chris, I mean, I've done that several times.
I know, but I like you. Oh. I like you I like you inherently, thanks. Right? So like I'll keep doing anyway. It just every time they would talk about technology, which is not even real. Like they would talk about technology not in a way that was about their subject matter, which is about getting back to work. They would just talk about their technology and bitch about it. And he would bitch about it, and he'd get Merlin in a bad mood, and so he'd kind of bitch about it with him. And I was just like, I don't need this anymore. So this show that I've never missed an episode of, I unsubscribed this week.
Oh, no.
I know. And I had a much more fun time listening to podcasts this week because I had only the podcasts that I liked. Now, that set up a whole thing later on in the week where I was like, I have all these movies in my... talking about how I have all these movies on my hard drive. I have all these movies in my hard drive, my iTunes collection. Some of them are movies that I got from my brother when he had the digital copy and he had no interest in it, so I would just...
So he would get, like, movies, and regardless of whether or not you wanted them,
and
you would just put them in there.
I put them in there, and not necessarily that they were bad movies, but they were just movies that I never really had any particular interest in.
Well, your brother, this isn't a slight, and I mean, I doubt he'll listen, so he won't... He probably won't take it as a slight because... Right. He won't hear it. Mm-hmm. But your brother is a lot more accepting of bad movies.
Right. Yeah. And I am too. Like, I mean, he and I are alike in that, in a lot of ways in that sense, because I also have very low standards for a lot of movies.
But Idiocracy, no.
but that's for the movies that I end up liking. Like if I end up finding something in a movie that I like, I have a very high tolerance for anything wrong with that movie, because there's some kernel of it that I just love.
See, I suppose I'm like the opposite as far as when I'm looking at a movie. I'm looking at it and I'm looking for a bad thing. And
You're looking for a reason to stop watching?
Well, not necessarily stop watching, but like I'm looking for crappy things, and it's probably due to like studying the media in college and then and taking like a media criticism class or something like that, and then watching a whole heck of a lot of Red Letter Media material, and it's turned me into an angry fuck when it comes to watching movies.
Well, that's me and short fiction and books a lot of times too. Is I have a very low tolerance for a book that I don't like. Like I'll get 20, 30 pages into it, and if it's not doing anything for me, I'm done. Like
but the trick is, like, if it's a movie I've gone to the cinema to see, which is something I still do, and it's we have the one up the Fine Art Cinema in Maynard. I'm gonna plug them because I want them to succeed. I want to have a movie theater I can walk to.
Yeah,
like
you should plug them. Stay local.
Yeah,
like, as much as you. I mean,
I don't think that many people that listen are necessarily local to here, but
Sorry. So you
but if I go to a cinema,
you don't want to leave the movie theater in the middle of something. But
there's the only one that I really wanted to was like in the peak of parody movies, and I like way back, like people used to mistrust my taste in film because I would want to rent like bad movies because like of the camp factor, which they didn't appreciate. Like I'd want to watch a Biodome. I'd want to watch other Pauly Shore movies, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Why?
And I'm like, I'm like, I just like this kind of crap, and they didn't appreciate it as much. So like when we would go to the video store, back when going to the video store was a thing, I was very often rebuffed on any pick that I had.
But here's the thing with me, I haven't walked out of the theater, but if it's sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot what the point I was trying to make there before I went off into a fucking tangent. So like when it was Epic Movie.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
When Epic Movie came out.
Yeah.
That like that was one of the ones that, like, cause like it was just
I can see
it was
on your
just
face.
So bad that I have trouble articulating how angry the movie made me.
Yeah.
And like I don't think even you or your brother could see this movie and find something worthwhile in it.
Right. No, probably not.
And it was just so like it wasn't it because all those like in the beginning it was the Police Squad what was it Naked Gun, which was a spoof of that genre, and it was done a lot of tongue in cheek,
right? Yeah.
But there was still some like knowledge of the source material behind it, of police shows from that era or police movies like a Lethal Weapon or something like that, and just making that into a movie. And maybe the second two weren't as good. Maybe isn't a word that I should have used.
You were being kind.
Yes. So, but the original like Naked Gun, good movie.
Yeah.
And then some of the other spoof movies.
Not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as we get to Epic Movie, it's no longer a spoof in the sense of like, a genre spoof. It is just like jokes and references to things that exist in the media elsewhere. And so it's just like, Britney Spears like went crazy and shaved her head. That's a thing. That's a thing.
Okay.
And
I was gonna say, I was wondering if what it was that they weren't watching them as source material anymore. They were just watching the trailers. But it's even worse than that. It's that they're just throwing
like it was I think Meet the Spartans was the one where it was 300 spoof, but it was just a bunch of like pop culture crap.
Yeah.
And I mean that's what people are kind of bugged about as far as Family Guy goes, as far as like references to shit, but at least they often make a joke with that reference instead of just say the thing.
Say the thing and expect you all to laugh.
Yeah, be like that's
Britney
the thing.
Shaved their head. Yeah,
so
that's funny.
But yeah, enough of that fucking shit.
Well, so I mean, what I was gonna say is that while I haven't walked out of the theater very many times, and we've covered that in the past, I do need to, if I hate a book or if I end up hating a movie, I need it to be out of my sight as soon as possible. So it's gotten to the point where you
don't burn it, do you?
No. But if I hate a book, I find myself going and taking the book out to the trunk of my car and putting it in the trunk of my car.
There are a lot of books in the trunk of your car.
Not right now, because I think I found a place to donate them in the last few months.
The library?
Well, I think that was where I donated them most recently. But there are there used to be bins all around, especially when we lived in New Hampshire. There were 3 or 4 of them that I'd drive by every goddamn day that were
they just
put your books in CD.
Or were they just mulching them or something?
I don't know. I don't want to think about that. I want to think that they went to a good home. In fact, I know they went to a good home because when I had a huge box of my first book, this is a sad story. My very first book, I bought I bought X number of copies. I sold those copies, and then I reinvested.
Bought one, Jesus Christ!
And then I reinvested. Right?
Yeah.
This is back in 2002. But then the second big box of books, which was twice as many, I couldn't move them at all. Like basically all interest died out, and I got a full-time job and I didn't have time. So I had this box of books that moved from apartment to apartment to apartment. Well, when we were in New Hampshire for at least a few years by this point, I took the box and I threw all of them into one of those donate bins. And this is how I know that they got around someplace, because they started turning up all over New England in like Salvation Army bookstores.
Oh, nice.
So, like, they ended up on the shelf. My in-laws would be like, hey, I saw your book on the shelf in, like, the Salvation Army.
Yeah, I mean...
So it got out there
people
somehow.
love it. The people love it.
People love it. You know,
well, you have a new book coming out,
I do have a new book coming out. I got something about that. But so what I say is, I need to get the stuff out of my site. So I found the setting in iTunes. It's like, so iTunes wants you to remember everything you've ever bought. But there's a way, if you go to delete this movie now... it will not actually delete it, but it will say, I will hide this from your list. So it will hide it from any big, long list of movies I've got.
So I don't
have to look for it.
I could put the Insane Clown Posse on my iTunes.
Yes.
Because I have CDs from 1997.
Yeah.
That I sort of every once in a while want to listen to.
I think it only works with stuff from that you've bought through them you can hide.
So I can't like put it on my computer.
Yeah.
Because I still have a CD drive on
you can put it in like a different folder on your computer. Don't put it into iTunes, and just when you want to listen to ICP, play it through QuickTime or something like that. But I got rid of a whole bunch of movies.
Every once in a while, I want to remember what a juggalo is.
And they did us proud last week.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Good job, Juggalos.
Good job not being fucking white supremacists or Nazis.
I do have a book coming out. You mentioned that, so I guess that's as good a place as any to...
I mean, plugging in the middle of the show is probably a better idea than at the end when people have been like, well, they're just doing plugs.
Well, now everyone's just going to skip forward 30 seconds to see if I'm done.
Well, do a fucking 2-hour plug then.
2-hour plug. That is on the you can get that too, along with the hot ranch. You can get the 2-hour plug.
Is that a 2-hour butt plug?
It seems likely. I've never asked for it myself, but
it's like an anal taper.
So I got the edits back from my copy editor last night, and I got them, and I was watching a movie when I got them, so I didn't do anything with them till this morning. We can talk about the movie later if we have time. So then I took a walk this morning, and then I came back and I started working on the copy edits, and they were not that many. They were all very important, but they were not that many, right?
Good.
So that was fantastic. And so then so basically the whole book is done. 296 pages.
Woo!
I need to finish the back cover and send it to the printer, hopefully today if I can manage it. But I am having the damnedest time deciding about one of the most important things that any author will ever have to decide about, and that is the M-dash.
I don't know what that is. I mean, Brian
that was kind of the point. I wanted to see what your reaction.
Brian was like, "Oh my god, really?"
And now Brian's getting ready to type us by the way, we have not forgotten. We have 2 emails from Brian,
and we will get to them next.
We'll get to them next. The M-dash. Now Brian is already. He's like, I can sense right now. He's got an email window open. He's ready to tell me about how I'm wrong here. Okay, so an M-dash. There's what we call an N-dash, E-N.
Not N as in like short for curse words.
And then E-M is the M-dash. These have to do with parts of the part of, not the typewriter necessarily, but when you would print a character, it has to do with the length or the width or something like that. That's how they got their names, the N and the M. Now the N-dash you use with date ranges sometimes. And you might use it with law partnerships. You'd almost always just use a hyphen instead, right? So a hyphen is pretty close.
Okay.
Now, an M dash can be used in a place where you might use. I should dig up the official rules that I've read. But you can use it to sort of section off a thought in a sentence that is maybe you would use commas for, maybe you would use parentheses for, but it's like a nice big pause. Something, 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 pause. Really, this something, something, pause again. The M dash is the pause on either side of that sort of thought that's related, but it's in the middle of the sentence.
That sounds fascinating.
I bet you if I transcribed some of our shows, there would be M dashes in your speech and you wouldn't even know it.
Yep. there might have just been one.
So anyway, referring to Butterick's Guide to Practical Typography.
Who's Butterick?
I think is it Matt Butterick? I'm told I could be totally wrong.
Butterick!
There's a guy out there named Butterick who has a guide to practical typography online. He is really good at he knows his shit, and he talks about the M dash. And with the M dash, usually if you do one of them, certain fonts will put a little bit of space on either side of the M dash, because really what it's supposed to do is you don't put spaces on either side of it. But certain fonts won't do that. With me so far?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I may have stopped listening, but continue.
And
so has the audience.
No, Brian's typing an email.
Yeah, I forgot.
So anyway, my copy editor and me, and I.
My buddy and me.
My
buddy copy editor and me.
A couple years ago, when we were working on my magazine Geek Force 5, decided on what Butterick calls one of the optional rules around M dashes, which is to put spaces on either side because sometimes there isn't enough space provided by the font. Well, I've been going back and forth about this because nobody else does that in any of the books that I've seen. I like that we did that. It provides space on those. It provides more of a breath, more of a pause as you're reading, but nobody else does it, except that Butterick says I could do it if I want to, and I believe in Butterick.
All right, as long as it's not going to confuse the reader.
Butterick's not. I believe it's not Butterick. No. Anyway, it's not going to confuse the reader. It's just a matter of, does it look right when it's printed, or does it look like it's got too much space on either side of it? And so that's the final decision I need to make sometime this afternoon is, am I going to put them back in? Right now they're not in, and in certain ebooks it looks perfect, because the ebooks use a font that has enough space. But in my print edition, it looks like it might be a little too.
Can you have your cake and eat it too, to have it be in the ebook and be in the print book?
Yeah, that's probably, if I'm gonna get really picky, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to do a save as, because I'm using one program that outputs everything for me. I'm gonna have to do a save as, and I'm gonna have to save the.
Just don't accidentally send the wrong one to the printer.
The printer. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't want to do any of this. I want to just have one, so that I don't have to worry. But that is the saga of the M dash. And Missing Mr. Wingfield, which is
the book that comes out
October 24th.
So theory. Like in about a month.
God damn it! And I'm doing a really shitty job at booking events for it, so I need to work on that next. But I basically have been worried. At
least I remind you to fucking talk about it every fucking week.
Yes. But I keep meaning to. I want the book to be available through all of the, like, if a bookstore was like, oh yeah, we'd love to order it, and they went onto their database to see if it was an actual book, I want them to be able to see that it's an actual book. And until it's at the printer and the printer can put it up for pre-order and list it in Books in Print, I can say it's a book all I want, but a bookstore is not going to be able to see that is true.
Okay, well,
so I need to hit this deadline today, Steve. I need to punch it right in the mouth.
Let's talk faster then.
Yeah. Anyway, so
if we do this for an hour, it's not going to make any difference at all.
No.
And I promise I won't say anything that you have to edit out of the show.
Oh, thanks. So, all right. I mentioned no. We got to get the
emails. Brian will fucking tear us. All the assholes.
All the assholes. So Brian sent us an email last week that we didn't get around to reading, and I think that
I told him that we would get to it this week.
But I think that may be why we got a second email.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this email I have shared with you. This is the one from last week. So, but the second one I have not shared with you. So we're gonna be getting Steve's live reaction right here on the air. So here's last week's email called "Screening Things." This is in reply to like 2 weeks ago's episode, right?
Oh yeah, because
you talked about screening.
I wanted to see if the Fine Arts Theater would screen The Room prior to Disaster Artist.
Prior to Disaster Artist. Yeah. So they need so Brian informs us you need a public performance license to do it legally, which is true. My friends,
which I imagine you could get from whatever production company made the movie.
You'd have to go to.
I don't think you'd have to go to Tommy Wiseau himself.
Probably not. My friends out in Portsmouth, who I won't mention their names, but there were a couple of friends of mine out in Portsmouth who ran a thing called the Sub Rosa Drive-In for a number of years, and it was a pop-up drive-in. They would take their cars, they'd tell everybody where they were going, and it'd be the back of some building somewhere, and they'd have a projector, and they'd project rooms, movies slightly better than The Room. They'd project trashy movies on the back of
but ones that they didn't have.
That they did not have the public performance license to.
But what if it's something that's like just in the public domain, where like the things like that they do on riff tracks nowadays?
Yeah, if it's in the public domain, I think it's fine. But if anybody owns,
like if you wanted to watch Reefer Madness, I think it would be fine.
Well, I don't know where the rights are for that, but. Brian says, also, Genesis Mortal Kombat had blood, Super Nintendo did not, so Genesis was better. At least that was my logic in 4th grade.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
Super Nintendo, that was sweat, right? Was that what it was supposed to be?
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. I mean, the graphically, the Mortal Kombat in the Super Nintendo was better, and the audio was better.
Right.
But not having the blood kind of made it worse, and I agree with him on that game.
Okay.
Although the audio and graphical capabilities of the Genesis were just lacking, but it was just cooler to have blood. But then in Mortal Kombat 2, when that came out for the Super Nintendo, there was a blood code. Oh. I believe.
That sounds right.
I'm not sure, though. So don't quote me on that.
Well, I won't do that.
But you needed a blood code for the Genesis version, too.
Oh. Okay.
It wasn't just instant blood.
Oh. I don't know if I knew that. Maybe I did know that. I can't remember who had a Genesis and who had a Super... Our family always had Super Nintendo. Most of my friends had Super Nintendo. I think I had... one friend who had a Genesis.
I had
back
both.
When it first
but I didn't get it like I think I got it in 93.
Okay,
so it's not like I got it when it came out, which was like in 89.
My friend my grade school, middle school friend Alan had the Genesis, and he brought it over to our house once, and we played Altered Beast.
I think that was the launch title. Yeah,
I think it was the launch title. Now you have to tell me if this way that Brian signs off in this email means anything. It says ABACABB. Is that the blood code?
I think that is the blood code.
That is the blood code. Okay.
Abacab.
That's how he signed off. Abacab, Brian. Okay. So yeah. I would concur. Although I did not really.
Well, I mean, it would have to. It would have to be a Genesis game if that was a code, because like the Genesis is the only controller that had a C button.
I was going to say.
Actually, no. I think the GameCube had a C stick, but not a C button.
Yep. Okay. So should we get on with the other one?
Sure.
All right. Sweet Jeebus, don't listen to Steve.
What did I say now?
This is Brian from last night.
Wow.
Last night, like 9:45 is when this came in. Sweet Jeebus, don't listen to Steve. Parentheses, maybe I'm not supposed to read this part, on a couple of things. Most of his other advice was spot on, but don't tell him I said that. I don't want him to get a big head about it.
Occasionally, I say things that are wrong. And luckily, we have listeners that point it out.
Okay, so, hey guys, my original email was deleted somehow, so here's the quick version. Statistics. Please refer to how math works. If you have a 1 in a million chance of the iPhone X recognizing someone else's face and unlocking, you have...
Oh, I was just fucking...
And you have 8...
It's always 1 in a million. I know.
And you have 8 million people in Massachusetts. There is not a 1 in 8 chance of the phone recognizing someone else's face and unlocking.
I realized after I said it that that's so completely fucking wrong. But there are 8. But what I should have said is there are 8 people in the state of Massachusetts that have a potential of getting your phone and unlocking it.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make more sense?
Brian explains, he says, there is a 1 in a million times 8 chance, which is still like 1 in 990,000. The exact number is actually closer to a million than that. I'll leave you with the words of my favorite math teacher, Dr. Koshi. Steve, math is a language. You must speak it properly.
All right. Well, I amended my statement.
Next paragraph. Ethics. Chris,
oh God.
Chris, while it may not be against the rules at your college for you to assign your book to your class, it is unethical. And it was just, I think you and I mentioned friends in the past have said you should assign your own book, and I've never done it. But that was the topic of conversation. And there are rules at many colleges about this. If you were, for example, a librarian at a state college in Virginia and you contributed a chapter to a book about Brad Pitt, you wouldn't be allowed to purchase that book for your library collection due to state rules.
What if someone bought it and donated it to your library?
I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know, because then Brian will tell us what the actual answer is instead of me bullshitting my way through it. It says, but the ethics of it are a bit more fuzzy. But do you really want to be the dick professor that assigns a book in an obvious attempt to promote it and get a cut of the royalties? You aren't that guy, Chris. Don't become that guy.
Well, you could always tell your students that it exists, and if they want to read it,
right.
You're not going to give them any extra credit, but no. You might think more highly of them.
I know that's crossing the line.
Oh shit! Well, then don't say that. Just say
I do mention that I have a book coming out only when it's relevant to the conversation. So I'll be saying, like, if we're talking about
or publishing in general,
or we're talking about getting something ready for publication, or in my magazine production class, if we're talking about production issues like M-dashes, I will bring up my book and my experiences with my book, but not in a go out and buy.
But you're not going to be a Jay Sherman, buy my book. Buy my book.
No. Brian finishes by saying, adding, I'm looking forward to reading your book. Next paragraph. You'll like this one.
Oh, I will.
But Steve is correct.
Oh!
You need to get readings at local bookstores and at as many libraries as you possibly can, including your college library. I suggest contacting, and then he lays out 3 people, 2 of whom I know, well, one of whom I know very well. He actually did some research here. I don't know how he dug it up, but he names 3
I don't know, maybe because he's a fucking librarian,
yes.
And that's part of his job, to do research.
Anyway, one of these people is somebody I've had a long college, like collegial professional relationship with. The other one is somebody I helped recently pay for them to go to, well, not pay for them, but I helped arrange them getting paid for something. And the last one is the one I've been in touch with about other events. So they're all people that I do know in some capacity. Yeah, so he suggests contacting those people about this. Librarians love this shit. Plus it's a line on the CV and something in the annual review. So yeah, I've been in touch with librarians. I've been in touch with the Chelmsford Library. I was turned down, at least for now. So I don't know. I've had an up and down week in terms of.
We'll talk to the people here in Maynard. Maybe they'll have. Because you're going to be coming here. You come here on Sundays anyways.
I'm here every day, every Sunday. All right.
You're here every day. That's why I heard you're here every day.
Well, I didn't want to tell you, but I like to
be a creep outside my house.
Yeah. I do drive part of the way here every day, right? And so when I'm coming here, I have to remember, don't turn the way that you would go to work.
Yeah.
Keep going straight.
Yeah.
Chris.
Oh, Jesus, we're still...
I had a horse and a pony growing up. More accurately, my mother had a horse, and we also took care of a pony for a while. Anyway, the pony was a pain in the ass, but it had nothing to do with feeling inadequate to the horse. It's an animal. It doesn't perceive the world through your human binary perspective. Stop being so non-anthropophobic, dick.
I think he might have had a beer or two when he wrote this one.
Finally, Chris, again... You wrote a book, dude. You finished something. Good work. If it is a flop, fuck it. Write another one. Don't let one failure hold you back. This one is done. Time to get on to the next one. Also, I really am looking forward to reading it. Smooches, Brian.
Aww.
Thanks for the smooches, Brian.
I mean, he's right. I mean, like...
I know.
As far as, like, doing something, I mean, we've done a bunch...
We've done 160, almost 165 episodes
of this show. And there's been some that have been fantastic, like this one, obviously.
Obviously.
But there's been some where it was just a complete dudski, and, you know...
That happens.
Or there's been some where we recorded a really good half of a show, and then the recording just stops halfway through, and then...
You would never do that to us, computer. I would never... I know you wouldn't.
Knock on wood, right?
Knock on... All right, hold on.
Could you not knock on your penis?
Well, I know. It's not wood right now.
Yeah, it would have to be turgid, right?
It would have to be turgid. You know, I'm trying to think what would do. Maybe watching Pirates of the Caribbean again. No, I'm just kidding. And no, I did watch it last night, but it did not get me turgid. The Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's the one I watched last night.
Was that the one with Harvey R. Bardem?
Yes, it is that one. And
he is milking that being a creepy guy from No Country for Old Men for all it's worth.
He was very creepy. There were new protagonists.
He's in that new movie Mother.
Oh, I hear that one's supposed to... People have complicated feelings about that.
Yeah, because it's a Darren Aronofsky film, and of course they're going to.
Yeah, okay.
Although The Wrestler, there wasn't any ambiguity.
Yeah, no.
I just liked The Wrestler.
I liked The Wrestler. I don't know that I had any weird feeling. I liked Black Swan. Oh, it was really weird.
Yeah, well, and then Requiem, and yeah.
But this one was pretty straightforward pirate adventure.
Schlocky action and stuff.
Schlocky action. Yep. There's a bit with a guillotine, which was humorous. Never thought a guillotine could be humorous, but it was. There was a.
Oh, come on! In Men in Tights, which was a spoof.
Oh, it was a spoof.
When he gets the little mini guillotine for his circumcisions.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did not forget about Dre, but I forgot about that.
You nipped the tip.
But you mentioned that is a big bug on the outside of your screen.
Do you want me to flick it?
No. It's all right.
It's on the outside of the screen. If it was on the inside, I'd be upset.
Yeah, you would be. There's one other thing that was on our list, and it was about I watched that movie. That was what I did for fun this week. You mentioned that you got to play a beta of is it a beta?
It's not a beta, but it was the demo version. I played it a little bit last week too, but it's called Project Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
Which is a 90s-esque like Super Nintendo era-esque Square Enix RPG.
Okay. Octopath.
Project Octopath Traveler.
Project 8 Paths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
8 arms to love you.
Well, you can choose from one of 8 characters, which is where the Octopath comes from, I suppose. But you know, when you translate something directly from Japanese,
if you're an Octopath, can you read just the 8's mind, or can you do the 7, the 9? You're an Octopath.
Why was 6 scared of 7?
I don't know. Why?
7, 8, 9.
Oh, Steve! I've never heard that one before. That's really funny.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, it was aside from having one of the worst titles in video game history, and I'm sure people have opinions on that, and can send in their
picks,
their favorites, and then we'll read them because we love reading lists.
We do.
But yeah, it's a shit name. The game was actually okay, although the battle system, there's a lot of dialogue, a lot.
I don't like
dialogue.
It when people talk,
and it's weird because like they do like some of the dialogue is voice acted, and some of it is not.
Oh, so some of it is just like typing at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, and then like so not everything that's on the screen that's written is read by a voice actor, but like some of the things are it's weird.
Yeah.
But then like if it's a cutscene, the whole thing is, and
right.
But I like the American voice actors just annoyed me, and I'm like, I'll just read it in English and just switch to Japanese, and then it'll be like I have to read it,
right?
Because I can't understand what they're saying.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it sucked because I died at a boss battle, and and I had to do that entire cutscene over again.
Yeah.
There's like a survey that they sent me that I think I'm very interested in filling out.
Yeah.
and being like,
please rename your
please rename the shitty game. It's not a shitty game, but please replace the shitty title.
Yeah.
And as far as the battle system goes, it's a little bit time consuming. Like when you get into like, I mean, if you're level building, you don't want to have to fucking like do all the things you have to, because like everybody has like a shield factor, and so you if you hit them once,
right,
you knock their shield away. You do some damage and you knock their shield away, and then they get little stars above their head and they can't attack.
Yeah.
If it's like if they have a shield number of 3, you have to hit them 3 times before that shield goes away.
Yeah.
But then after they are dazed for a turn, they get it back, and you have to do it over again. And so, like, you can beef up your attacks. Like, if after every turn, you get a little star on your this little star meter.
Right.
And I think it goes up to like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You can add 1, 2, 3, 4 to your attack, so you can attack a guy 4 times in a row. So you can go and like if it was a 3 on his shield, you could hit him 3 times normally, and then an extra time at more damage because you've broken through his shield.
Got it.
But then the next turn you can hit him again if he still because he still has stars on him, and all the hits that you do will be extra damage.
Okay.
But like each time, maybe it's because I didn't level build enough, like in the earlier areas.
Right.
But when I got to the boss, it was just fucking obnoxious how long that fight was.
Huh. That's unfortunate.
So, I mean, like, don't make the first boss of the game, like, something that will turn people off from playing.
Don't make the first boss hog.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I beat Sephiroth in less time in Final Fantasy VII.
I was like, I don't know who Sephiroth is.
He's the last boss. Spoilers in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, all right.
Or Kefka in 6.
Oh, they have some interesting names.
Yeah.
It's like Kefka's dick.
Kefka's dick.
No, Kafka's dick. Kafka's dick? No, Kafka's dick was a play that I read earlier this year. I was helping decide whether or not it should go into the season at the Players Ring in Portsmouth. I voted for it. Apparently not enough other people did because it did not make it into their season.
Yeah, well, you know, some people are just prudes about Kafka's dick. About
Kafka and his dick, you know. What's wrong with Kafka's dick? Well, not everybody's got a dick, but a lot of people have a dick. There's nothing wrong with their dicks.
50% of humanity does, or about.
Or like 49%, right? Aren't women like 51%?
Yeah, you'd think.
I don't know.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to get into that.
Something you said. So I was in Salem yesterday. Why
Mass or New Hampshire?
Mass. I went by an escape room.
We did both of those.
Yeah, but then it was something when you were saying it made me think of Salem, it made me think of the escape room, but that it made me think of something else. And now
did you go to Space Pizza?
No, we didn't go to Space Pizza.
Ah, you bum.
We went to the.
You went to Salem right before everything goes fucking cuckoo bananas.
Well, and it was cuckoo bananas because yesterday was the Smithsonian website had a promotion where you could get into you get 2 free tickets to any one of these like 50-something museums in Massachusetts.
And so you went to
the Witch Museum.
Oh, the Witch Museum. Not the. What the hell is it? Peabody Essex Museum.
No, that was
Peabody Essex has like I'm just getting really local this week. Peabody Essex has like a monster movie.
I saw that.
Like old like Universal monster movies.
It looked really sharp. I was not as impressed. I don't know if that was one of our options, but Stephanie said the one that she was interested in was the Witch one, so that's where we went.
Which one?
I wanted to go to the MFA. The MFA was on that list, but she's like, the kids are not going to be.
Yeah, they're going to hate the MFA.
Well, Kaylee likes to draw. She likes art, so I thought, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's
the entire time we were in Salem too, so I think it wouldn't have mattered. They were going to complain no matter what we made them do.
once they're 21, it'll be fine. There's a lot of good bars in Salem.
There's some other damn thing when you were.
Did you go to the Speakeasy? No. You had the kids.
We had the kids with us. Yeah, no.
The Bit Bar. Oh wait, again.
I don't know. No, I thought about. Do they have Bark Aid there?
No,
they don't.
I think you can have kids in there in the earlier part of the day. But after I think maybe 7 or 8, they're like kick out the kids.
Yeah, kick out the jams.
Kick out the jams.
Yeah. No, it was.
Last time we went there, we had a decent time, and I made a lemon party joke that someone got.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always good when that happens. You can find the show.
Wow, it's already over
for this episode.
Oh, and the reason why my voice is hoarse
is because you're a little pony.
Is that we were at a wedding on Friday evening, and
some nuptials.
I'll say congratulations, Amanda and Kate. You probably will never listen to this, but it's out there on the internet that I said congratulations.
Aww.
I mean, I also said it to their faces.
Yeah, I was going to say you should probably
I was there, and I said that, but...
if you're leaving your congratulations until the
last... No, but they get a bonus
congratulations podcast
at the end of the podcast.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/165. And if you'd like to email us about anything we've said that was wrong or right or...
if you think Project Octopath Traveler is a good name for a video game, give us an email, and I will try to somehow slap you through the email.
And the email address to send that to is hot@clarkwoods.com. That's hot@clarkwoods.com. Or you can tweet us. You could be the first.
Yeah, that has never happened.
I am at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser, all one word.
Oh,
it's over, man. You got to go do some book shit.
I got to do some book shit. I got to stop sweating.
Go to a place that has air conditioning. It'll be great.
We had fall for like 2 fucking days. What happened?
It is, in fact, fall.
No, it's not. It's 90 degrees out.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be fall.
But yes, it's supposed to be fall. What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. There's no such thing as climate change.